everybody. We are back for another episode of Intuition. Guys, thank you again for joining us. She's back. It's part 2. I got my great friend Armani with me here today. I'm going to let Armani introduce herself, and then we're going to get right into the video.
Hi guys, my name is Armani. I am a recent North Carolina A&T grad, and I am currently a multifaceted storyteller.
Yes. Hey, Armani worked for Netflix, y'all. She being very humble right now, but she that girl. She that girl. I'm gonna give her props. Armani, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Thank you for doing this again for me. And we got a good episode for y'all today. Today we are talking about a sense of purpose and also waiting on God's timing. One of the first questions that I have for Armani today: how has the last couple of months impacted you mentally, but also spiritually as well?
I feel like when people say, just wait on God, keep having faith, at times it really can get to a point where it feels like it sounds really naive. Mm-hmm. But I feel like with post-grad, I literally kind of had no choice but to wait. Right. So it was like ever so recently when it kind of hit me where it's like I really have no choice but to wait. And I think me waiting and finally getting the opportunities that I know I deserve and taking in those opportunities allowed me to, really kind of just appreciate God and appreciate His timing and appreciate those moments of quietness and stillness. Because I feel like during post-grad, I definitely did have my days where it's just like, all right, what are we doing here? Right. But then I also had to really just remind myself and find that balance of, I'm really young. I graduated early. Right.
That's already an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like I can't be as hard on myself because I know I'm also like really aware of the fact that I'm only hard on myself because I'm very, very, very goal oriented and I just don't know how to sit down. Yeah. So it's just like.
Is it a humbling experience going through something like that? Not knowing all the answers based on just coming out of post-grad and you just like I know it's direction that I want to go, but it's like God is telling me, no, this is what I need you to do for me right now. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know if humbling is the right word.
Okay.
I think I wouldn't necessarily say humbling. I think it's more so just like a mindset shift. Because I feel like I've always been humble. For sure. Like it's really like a trait that's kind of instilled in me. Like I don't make a big deal out of a lot of my achievements because I know at the end of the day some like an opportunity that other people may consider like really, really big. Right. I consider it big too, but right. I'm after post-grad and really like trying to learn like how I want to align my career and how I want to align my life. I know that is going to take a really, really, really long time. Right. So like that small achievement that I perceive as a small achievement, other people may perceive as a really big achievement. But in my case personally, I just think of that, like that's just the beginning. Like, this is just an opportunity for me to explore, to network, to learn something within that environment that can help me get to the actual place that I want to get to in the long run. That's probably going to take like a really long time to get to.
So what advice do you have for any college graduates that are finna come up with graduation right now that don't have a job after post-grad? Like, what are some words of encouragement to them, or even just some simple advice that you've learned in the last couple months?
I would say just don't get too comfortable in that stillness. I feel like if you do find yourself getting comfortable in that stillness, kind of use that as your time to actually genuinely ask yourself, like, okay, with the career that I want to achieve, like, is this something that is aligned with who I am as a person, who I want to reflect on the world, I guess you could say, depending on the field that you're in, and like actually genuinely ask yourself, the career that you do want to go into, why do you want to go into that, and like be 10 toes down sure that you want to go into that career and have genuine intentions with that career. Because I feel like if you're aligned with your career spiritually, mentally, and physically, it really won't feel like a job. And if it doesn't feel like a
flow
job,
state.
you'll reach a flow state. And I think once you kind of reach that and you know the steps that it will take to get to whatever career that is, you'll appreciate those moments of stillness, because you'll know some things will just take a little bit longer times than others
to get to.
Yes, to get to.
Now, what have you learned about yourself in the last year that maybe that you didn't know before, now that you've really gone through some obstacles early in your life? What's something that you like, wow, I've learned a new character development trait about myself, or even now that one that I already had maybe is stronger now because I've had to be still and really wait on God and surrender. You know what I'm saying?
Being very goal oriented and having like a lot of goals, for me specifically, because I have so many goals, I don't know how to structure it throughout each day and like work towards them. So like I think I'm trying to learn to kind of just like create an entire schedule for myself and be organized with it. And I think some days or some weeks I'm consistent with it, some weeks I'm not consistent with it. And when I'm not consistent with it, I end up falling off, and I end up like kind of just beating myself up about it, because it's just like I don't have anything to do, so it's just like, why am I not working towards this? So
no more excuses.
It's like no more excuses, but it's also like I'm young, but I can't be using that excuse for so long.
You know, I seen something on Substack that said that it was like, just you know, because people be like, give yourself grace.
Yes.
Somebody was like, yeah, don't give yourself grace to be a loser though.
Yeah. I feel like you have to find a balance between giving yourself grace and giving, and you know, actually executing stuff, because you can't. I feel like a lot of people will use God's name in a sense of like, oh, well, I'm waiting on God. Oh, well, I'm doing this. Okay, but like, what are you doing in the meantime while you're waiting on God?
And as we all know, I just read that in James today.
Really?
Faith without action is dead.
Exactly.
So, and when you talk about being great, it takes what it takes. It's no excuse. If you say that you want to do something or be somebody in this world, God always says to us, whatever that we ask for in prayer, believing, and we shall receive it. But we also have to work towards that too.
Yes.
You can say, I'm thirsty, I want some water. It could be a cup in your house and a water faucet in your kitchen at the sink. But you still have to get up out the chair, stop being lazy, and go fill your cup up with water. God has already provided a lot of things for us, but sometimes as humans, we forget that we have to play our part too. Like I said, like I always tell y'all, it is a relationship. It takes two to tango. God can always do his part, but you have to come up on your part too. And also, before we get into another question, I want to tell everybody the spiritual definition for suffering. A profound catalyst for growth, transforming pain into a quote-unquote scared room that fosters humility, resilience, and a deeper connection with God, forcing individuals to surrender, control, examine their inner lives, but also detach from ego-driven desires.
That's good. That's good.
So,
that's good.
and now that we're talking about inner growth, what does doing the inner work and inner growth look like to you, in your opinion? Because we were talking about that a little bit last night.
We were. And for me, I was in like complete isolation. So it's like, I think for me, I really just learned. I took the time to learn a lot of the decisions that I've made in the past when it came to how I approached relationships, how I approached friendships, how I respected myself, and how I viewed the world in the way that it is, and really kind of learn to just detach from that. I feel like there's a better word to use, but you really just are detaching yourself from all of the projection. You're really detaching yourself from all of the projection in the world. And so like what that looked like for me, and I told you that not too long ago, is going back to your childhood self. So like for me, I knew I really like loved the creative field, but I feel like I could have been deeper within that. And you know, being a creative, to be a good creative, you should be sensitive about a lot of things. So for me, you know, I was very vulnerable within my work, within how I approached the world. And I'm still very sensitive and very vulnerable today. So I think the world around us kind of, you know, goes against that often. And I think when you experience like a ego death and, you know, kind of just letting go of what you thought you should do, I feel like you kind of just have to stand 10 toes down and, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just...
I see what you're saying. But I also want to tell y'all, too, that a part of, you know, doing the inner work and doing a lot of inner growth within yourself, a lot of that has to do with getting closer to God.
It does.
Whether people want to admit that seriously or not, it is truthfully, because like God said, we are made in his image and likeness. You know, the spirit of Jesus lives in with all of us. You know what I'm saying? And once you realize too that to know God, to know yourself is to know God, that's when things get better, because like it says that through all out the Bible, come near to God and he will come near to you. Basically saying too that if you come near to yourself, if you take some time to really focus in on you and understand where you come from, why the way that you are made up, what triggers you, you know, like Armani just said, certain things that come from your childhood, and when you get closer to God, a lot of questions and things will be revealed to you. You know what I'm saying? But you have to take time to get away from the crowd, but also to let God come to you and to come into your heart and answer a lot of questions that you have about yourself.
I think in addition to that, I think you'll know you've kind of reached that, that like, oh, like I'm good. Like you've reached that ego death and you've done the inner work, is when you'll be able to discern a lot of things like for what it is, because when you've done the inner work and you're confident in that inner work, you're confident in a lot of the decisions that you make, and you're confident in the awareness around you within the world. So if you're awareness and around that within the world, there's going to be people who will try to project,
Right.
who will try to dim down your light,
Right.
who
Yeah.
will, you know, just project and put on some type of negative energy within your work. But if you've done that inner work, you'll know a lot of, you'll be able to discern, like,
you don't need a lot of validation.
you don't need
anymore.
a lot of validation,
And you have your own opinion.
You do. You have to just learn to, like,
An independent thinker, not a social media thinker.
yes, you're a very independent thinker, and you'll know when to, like, just say okay to
Yeah.
stuff, because
Yeah.
you know, like for me, when I've done the inner work, after I've done the inner work,
Right.
I've learned to read people very, very well.
Right.
And it's a good thing and a bad thing, but for, like, overall, I feel like for me being able to read some people is like, I try to hold my tongue with certain things, because, you know, I can't just go outright say certain things about certain people's characters, because, you know, I could be wrong sometimes too, but I also have a good feeling about certain people and know why a lot of people may be the person that they are today because of something deeper than that. And I can easily tell that they have not done the inner work by how they present themselves in the world. So it's just like, I think that's also another thing, when you realize you can read that off of certain people, is when you realize, oh, I've actually gone somewhere with my shit because I can easily read this,
Right.
you know?
Now let me ask you, while we're on the topic of childhood, what is something that you want to do for your kids or give to your kids that you maybe feel like your parents didn't do for you or give to you per se? Nothing financially either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll first off by saying, like, I love my parents.
Right.
You know, my parents had me at a very young age.
Right.
So, like, the mistakes that they did make, you know, I just kind of remind myself, you know, at the end of the day, it's the first time for everything. It's the first time for everybody to navigate
Grace.
thing. Yeah, so, you know, you got to give people grace. But I would say really just being mature about and being intentional about how I want my child to navigate their life. So, like, for me, when I start to parent my child, I for sure will, you know, instill in them why the world is the way that it is. Encourage them to, you know, pursue certain academics and certain things. I mean, they can have their free reign too. I would say that. Instill in them a trust to where you know, I want them to give them the space to grow. But, you know, if they ever need me, you know, I'm always a shoulder to lean on. Not saying my parents didn't do that, but, like, kind of just put more emphasis on that.
Right.
You know, give them that space
You
to
can come
make...
to me about anything.
Yeah, like, you can come to me about anything. But I want you to, you know, have room for mistakes. But, yeah.
Now, what, you know, I know you only just 21 now, but what does success look like to you for your life? What is your true definition of success? Because, you know, everybody has a different definition of success.
You're right.
You know?
My definition of success is living a life that's really just aligned with God and what He knows that I have a passion for and I have an interest for. So, like, if I want to get into specifics, like, I don't mind living, like, I really don't care to be rich. I really don't.
Everybody has different desires, guys.
You're right. Everybody does have different desires. I don't care. I mean, I just want to be financially stable to where I can live the life that I want to live. So, like, I want to be able to travel. You know, I want to be able to... I actually don't want to live in a mansion either. I'm really fine with, like, a big penthouse. That's it. Nothing crazy. I don't really care for anything that is considered of monetary value in terms of, like, flashy stuff. So what success looks like to me is having a career that's aligned within the arts, that does genuine storytelling for the Black community. So whether that's film, whether that's photography, I don't mind having different creative aspirations, but I want to do that on a daily basis that is aligned with genuine, authentic storytelling that makes me enough money and gives me enough of the free time to, you know, still live the life that I want to live. So, like, being able to travel different places when I want to travel, you know, investing money into artwork pieces or investing money into, you know, stuff that's genuinely has a good cause for the world. I would say that's what success looks like to me. That's just me personally, though.
I understand.
I just want to live a life where I want to live a life where life doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a job. Like, I don't want to have that that go getter, go. No, I really want to live a soft life, but within that soft life, I'm doing the things that doesn't feel like a job that I genuinely love doing.
So now when you talk about work, tell them a little bit about your experience working for Netflix and how did that shape you career-wise, and what you learned from that experience being on set and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, so most recently I worked on Love is Blind for Netflix as a story assistant. So basically,
I'll let you, girl.
So basically, we started off in Atlanta for the pods, and then we went to Mexico for a week for getaways, and then we went to the hometowns, which was in Philadelphia. So in that role, I started off as a production assistant, and then from there I was a story assistant, which is the job that I originally got hired for, which was basically logging, taking notes of everything in the conversations that people were having, etc., etc. I think it was a very, very, very good experience. You know, I was very, very grateful for the opportunity presented. A little bit of backstory of how I even got the opportunity. The last Netflix show that I was on, I was networking with somebody. That was the first Netflix show that I was on. And she gave me the email telling me that, Love is Blind is going to be in Atlanta. So I emailed the executive producer. I found her email online. And I was like, hey, do y'all have any open roles for an AP? She ended up responding. She said, we got on a call. That was basically my interview. Ended up getting the position. Cool. I'll go in depth about the experience first. I think it was a really, really good experience. I learned a lot within the daily operations of a television production. I don't think I would do that position specifically again, within reality TV specifically.
Okay.
And I only say that because, again, like, I like to emphasize alignment within things, and I just don't think that type of storytelling is in alignment with who I am as a person.
Amen.
And I think it was just certain things that I kind of seen that was just like, I don't know if I really like that. Not to like bash the show or anything, because, you know, I work with really, really great experienced people, you know, have a passion for reality TV and storytelling. But, you know, there's different types of storytelling. So reality is kind of a whole different lane, and I don't think I would want to do the story side of reality TV again. Maybe the production side I'll do, but story-wise, it just wasn't really it for me. But after that entire experience, I was just very, very grateful for that, because I made sure that I networked with everybody on that set, because when you're on sets like those, everybody that you network with, anybody can literally, from that set, can give you your next job. So it's just like,
so
I don't want to take that for advantage. And literally the last day that we wrapped, I pulled aside the executive producer. She was the lady that emailed me and responded to me. And I was like, hey, you know, I really just want to thank you for, you know, responding to I literally started crying in that lady's face.
Yeah.
And I just like thanked
Beautiful
her.
Moment.
It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
I cried in her face. I was like, you know, I'm just very grateful for this opportunity, because I kept emailing and cold emailing people, everybody. And, you know, you were just the one person that actually responded and said yes to me. So, you know, I'm very grateful, and I just wanted to thank you for that. And I had like a really good time.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, of course, no problem. You know, I want to bring people up, because, you know, that's how I got my first opportunity and stuff like that. So, you know, she gave me some really encouraging words, and it was like really uplifting. And
Gratitude.
yeah,
Just a glorious moment.
It
I'm
was.
proud of you too.
How do
Thank
you
you.
want to be
All right, these-
remembered? And also, how has God impacted your life in the last couple of months?
how do I want to be remembered? I want to be remembered as the girl who just walks in the room and just brightens it up. But I want to also be remembered as a very articulate, goal-oriented, creative individual. I want to be remembered as somebody who, you know, off first rip, you don't imagine can get really deep, but can get really deep if you just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yep.
And, you know,
Be curious.
actually be curious about.
Yeah.
I would say that's how I want to be remembered.
And how has God impacted your life in the last couple of months?
God has been great to your girl. Like, shout out to Big God. I feel like right now he's reminding me to, again, just kind of go back into that season of just being patient, being okay with being in that stillness, and continuing to work towards my goals, and he will make a way. And, you know, I just got to do my part, and he will do his part. So I feel like that's where God is telling me to be at right now, and I am okay with that. I've reached a point where I'm content with that. Because I feel like post-grad is literally me just climbing a ladder and not knowing where the hell it's going. And, you know, just trusting God to create a pathway and continuing to help me get up that ladder to where I want to go. So it's just about being patient and trusting in him. And yeah.
And to all the believers who believe in God, and especially our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I want all of you to remember, you were born not to be average. You were born to be extraordinary. You are a God. You are a son and children of the Most High. Jesus' words, not mine. You are a God while you are on earth.
Yes.
I want all of you to remember that. Thank you, Armani, for coming on this episode again for the podcast. Thank you to all the Intuition Podcast supporters. Love you guys so much. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe. I love you, but most importantly, so does God. And holla at your boy.
Amen.
And your girl, too.
Yes. Oh, you know, I have tattooed John 13:7. You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand.
Peace.